fuck is this killer? I'm really struggling. I think for me, the idea of running an ultramarathon was more just the next step. It was the next progression in where I wanted to go after the end of the Gold Coast Marathon back in July. I can't move. I'm gonna go sit down. Fuck. After the Gold Coast Marathon in July and all the comments that I got, I realised I had a moral obligation to share more of my journey, more of my story, the more in-depth look into what clinical depression is actually like, and training with it, both endurance running and strength training on a day-to-day basis. And for me, the ultramarathon, though not long in distance, 50 kilometers, that the heat was going to be a challenge, something that I'm not used to, and that was the real next step for me moving forwards. And really, the goal was just to finish. It was a struggle. It was a real struggle. The whole training block was difficult. My mind was not playing ball for 3-4 weeks out from the ultra, and it was really tough. So the ultramarathon was a 5 a.m. start, which means we was up real early, 3:30 in the morning, wake up, and already by the time it was 25 degrees, so you could feel the humidity and the heat. The morning was, as most race days now, and most of my Saturday ones I've been practicing up to, was a muffin, banana, honey, and then it was scuba G1 Sport, 2 scuba electrolytes, so that's up 40 grams of carbs, and 1,000 milligrams of sodium for breakfast, just to kind of get up, add on the banana, the muffin, the honey, and I think it works for me, but we'll be trying out something new in Jan and see if I can get a little bit more energy, find something easier to eat at 3:30 in the morning. So we took the 45-minute drive from where we are up in Labrador down to Coolangatta, and by the time we got there at 4:45, we had a 15-minute gentle prep before the start of the ultramarathon. So we got change, fluids in, small dynamic stretch, and then we're walking to the start line. And the GC50 is not a massive race at all. There are about 500 runners on the start line. It was pretty relaxed compared to the 10,000 at the marathon. This was a really low-key, really chatting, really friendly event. I said hello to some people that have watched my previous YouTube videos and they recognise the sunnies, and it was just great to have that little conversation to start the morning off, and really, those kind of little moments when people come say hello, they're just nice reassurance that the YouTube is helping people, and this provides value and helps people along their journey and their running journey and whatever journey they're on, mentally or physically. And that was just an epic start to the race. And then at 5 a.m. we were off, 5 a.m. sharp, and you just kind of trundle over the start line. You just kind of get into some relaxed breathing as you move off, and the lesson I learned immediately, and the lesson I learned throughout this 50 kilometers when I look back on it, is that it's easy to start strong. Whenever we take on new challenges or businesses or journeys, the start when you feel energized and motivated and ready and mentally prepared yourself for the process is always the easy part. And the first 15 kilometers of this ultramarathon was exactly that. It was easy. We'll gently move up to race pace as we go. Yeah, all good so far. Just met the nicest dude on the start line who watched my first marathon video last night, doing his first ultramarathon, so I didn't catch your name, but I appreciate you. Such a great start to these kind of events. So if you do see me running and you see these sunnies, please do come say hello. Exactly why I make these videos. For people running marathons for the first time or trying out this lifestyle, come say hi. So just over a kilometre in, heart rate's 148, pace is nice and slow, we're 6:20 odd. I'm just going to cruise up to 6-minute kilometres. It's not too warm yet. There's loads of people out, so it's awesome. Finding a little bit of rhythm, 4Ks in, heart rate's 149, we're just managing pace slightly. As I said, the heart rate slowed really nicely at 4 or 5K. I saw Beck at 5K and picked up some more fluids, which was awesome.
Just past 5k, 151 heart rate and 550 per kilometre, so keeping it nice and gentle. Just past Beck to say hello. Picked up a G1M Sport and some more electrolytes. Probably sip it as we go. And yeah, we'll continue on. Quick toilet break. First breakfast, another Morden gel. Nice and relaxed. You're at the 10k mark. Heart rate 153. Average pace was 604, so yeah, we're doing real good. Definitely not fast, but still enjoying the run so far. 12.5k. Heart rate 161. Pace around 6 minutes still. I'm trying to look at my watch too much and just take it nice and easy. I won't leave as much in the tank for the back half of the race, the 25 onwards.
And as we continued through my hydration and nutrition was on point. Through 10k we already consumed 250 grams of carbs, another 1,500 milligrams of sodium, and we're in a really good place. And I was bang on splits, I was bang on time, I was bang on form, and I felt really good through that first 15. When you're expecting pain, you chose for suffering, you've trained for suffering, it's always going to arrive at some point, and that easiness didn't last. It didn't last, and the suffering definitely came my way.
So we just clocked over 15k. Heart rate's 161. Pace is slow, 6:15 or so. I just feel a little off. I just had some ice water and it made it unsettle my stomach slightly, so I just relaxed into it again. I was enjoying it and just trying to enjoy the run again.
So as we ran through 15 and up to 20 kilometers, the heat was just constantly climbing. By 15k at around 6:30 in the morning, it was 27. By 7 in the morning, it was 28 degrees Celsius. Every half an hour was an extra degree, and you can feel it. The sun is pumping down the concrete rail on the beachfront. There wasn't a huge amount of breeze, and the heat just kept going and going and going and going. And I'd expected it. I've been training in that morning block, expecting the heat to rise and trying to acclimatize, but this Saturday was 4, 5, 6 degrees Celsius higher than any Saturday run I'd done in the previous weeks before that.
That's 20 Ks, 166 heart rate, 607 minute per kilometre, so nice and easy. For now it's just managing the heat, but it's getting very hot.
And people were suffering. All on the course are people sitting down in shade, a couple of collect people, a few ambulances here or there. Like, it was tough. It was really tough, and that middle block, when you've had it easy for the first 15 and then you're kind of getting into some fatigue hits and some dehydration hits, and you're trying to keep carbs in and hydration going, you're in a race. And the heat was just punishing. Oppressive, punishing heat, and nothing I'd experienced or ever run in before, if I'm honest.
It's time for a bathroom break. Tommy's feeling very off.
And I found myself between 22k and 25k, so the turning point, the halfway point of the race, I was just mentally just in pieces. I'd come into the race feeling pretty weak mentally. I was exhausted, I was tired. It's been the end of a huge year for me personally. Moving to Australia, running the business full time after 3 years part time. There's been a whole huge lump of life changes. I'm coming into December after a huge training block, just kind of running on fumes mentally, physically in a good enough place, but mentally struggling. And that halfway point where I kind of trundled through 23, 24, 25, when I got to 25, I looked up at the next lap sign and I was like, geez, it's taken me a good 2.5 hours to get to this point. Like, I've got a long way to go. And that's when it hit me. The slap bang in the middle of the turning point, middle of no man's land. Halfway, I was in a fight and I was really struggling.
25. Just through halfway and I'm really struggling. The heat is hammering down. Trying to get through electrolytes and water and carbs to my third gel. I'm gonna break this run down into little 4 or 5k segments and just drag ourselves through.
And the more water I took on, the more electrolytes I took on, I thought it was in a good place, but we got a 26k, and the one thing I didn't expect to happen again happened. I got cramp.
26 in, and for some reason feeling cramp in the quads again. Super fucking disappointing. I get some electrolytes in ASAP. Maybe a salt tab if I can find it, but it's really not good. None through training, and then today just hit me, so I'm gonna try and stretch it out and not what happened last time.
In my head I was just like, fuck, like I'm in trouble. I think just that extra 4 or 5 degrees, the nervous energy from running just brought on that onset of cramp, and I had to quickly change my strategy for the race.
It's not much fun. Keep going. A little bit of walking again. Tummy feels bad. Yeah, the heat's just killing me. Absolutely killing me. More than I thought.
I was beginning to have to run and then walk and run and then walk, and that is just one of the most frustrating and, you know, humbling experiences when you're out on a race course, because it's not just you, there's other people suffering, everybody's feeling that same thing. But when you put the training in and you've never had to do that run, walk, dance before, it was the same as the Gold Coast Marathon. You just got to suck it up. I always knew the race was going to start at 30k. I knew the legs were going to be heavy. I knew that 30k mark all the way through to the end was going to be really when I got tested, and it really was. And it was a fascinating place to be.
31k, real ups and downs in this one. It's a lovely part of the coast, but I'm just so warm. Walk a bit every now and again, run a bit. We'll get there. Just walking up the 32 mark hill in my 4th gel of the day. 36k in. It's up and down every few kilometers. I'm like my 4th wind this whole race. Hydration hit, carbs hit, and you feel okay for a bit, but regardless, we're at the top turn, which means we're going to call a left, which is great news. Walking again, step by step, brick by brick. It's just 1 foot at a time. So we're 40k's in. Heart rate's 1.5 hit, but we're at 7-minute kilometers. We're super slow. We're still managing the cramp. So let's take our time and get through this last 10. I don't want to eat this 5th gel at all. I'm so sick of eating gels. Ugh. Anything but a gel right now. Holy shit. I'm gonna force it down. We've got 8.5, 9k left, so we're in single digits. Just gotta lock up and keep going. .42k. It's a marathon in 5 hours and 9 minutes. Oh, the heat has destroyed me. And many today, it's not a surprise. Like I'm still enjoying it. I'm just managing the cramp, but it's insane what it can do, the impact.
These ultra marathons where you're considering long distances and pushing up your own marathon distance, you're choosing at some point, you know, you're going to feel really bad, like really, really bad, whether it's heat or distance or stomach issue, whatever it may be. You have to accept that you've brought yourself to this point for various reasons, whether it's for your mental health, physical health, you're raising money for charity, you just want to push yourself further. And if you can accept that in the heat of the moment and learn to enjoy it, it's one of the most freeing and frankly quite emotional experiences you don't have.
The sun is beating there, but I've realised, I mean, I'm not there yet. Coming to 45k. The hardest part of this isn't the end. At some point you know you're going to finish, you know you're going to get there and succeed. The hardest point is often the turn. When you're halfway, when you're fully in, you're struggling. That's when it sucks. Right now is almost enjoyable because I'll get to the end. But it's that halfway point that kills. I'm thinking about that. With everything and anything. You make so much progress at the start and you feel good, and you suffer in the middle. So long to go. And you hammer through and hammer through and hammer through. And out the other side is whatever you need it to be. 5k left. Wrap this one up. And bit by bit, it keeps getting warmer and warmer. Well over 30 degrees. I'll translate that in Fahrenheit. 3k to go. Walking a little bit. Crammed down the left quad. Last 500 meters, almost there.
Here, Raphael and Jamie. Nice work. That's Jamie. That's Jamie Evans. That's Jamie.
They said that if you have depression or anxiety, if you're suffering or if you're dealing with things or you want to challenge yourself and get better, you don't have the gym or run or just attempt something. And this ultramarathon I'll never do again. I'll never run a 50k in the heat or 100k in the heat. I run 100k in the cold. I run 200k in the cold. But this was one of those really interesting ones where I just had to get it done. And it was, as part of this channel, part of my moral obligation to share my journey and share my story. But I think if you are struggling and you need a challenge and you need something different, then I implore you to just attempt enjoy running. 10k, half marathon, marathon, just something. It has changed my life. It is in the process of changing my life. And the lesson I learned on this course of the start being easy, the middle being no man's land, and the end being enjoyable even though you're suffering. I hope it can resonate with a lot of you and you realise that if you're in no man's land, there is an end and you've come so far and you've got to keep going. And that was Ultramarathon.